Hello, Gravitrons. That's what I call my viewers now, because, as you know, I'm More Gravity, and we're gonna review a great game of chess I just finished. Um, I decided to change the name of my viewers from just everybody to Gravitrons. You gravitate to more gravity. All right. Um, this game, I guess this is part way through. Um, Sorry about that. The game, as we can see somewhere, was one of my very most accurate games that I've ever played. Full of tension and reasonably late break. Um, so yeah, combined accuracy over 180. That's hey, that's good. I was on the winning end of things. I'll let that be known. So without any more to ado, let's analyze this game. I played e4 like I most often do. I've been playing the King's Gambit well recently, so I decided to turn to it here after frustrating something. Anyway, I played the King's Gambit here. And this is one of the classic ways for black to decline and white to respond to that. If you play the King's Gambit as white, you can get on here with white to move. It can become enticing, maybe a capture or push forward to lock pawn chains. My queen could go here, whatever it is. I actually very highly recommend, and the computer sees me through to this. None of this over calculating on move three. On move three, in the King's Gambit, white plays knight f3, and that's whether it's been declined this way, or if often if it's been accepted. I'm still um, uh, I'm still advocating for knight f3 as white's third move. Okay, in this variation, it has this as a book move. So I played knight f3. That's white's best third move. Something's all right. Bishop b5 is a playable move. More often, we'll see bishop to c4 here. It's a move that white often makes. Oh, that's what it was. I wanted to display more lines on the computer to calculate more lines and devote more time to each of them. So I do that by fixing the settings like so. As you see, bishop c4 is the fifth most common move here. One of the great things about the King's Gambit, though, is that it's wide open. It's wide open. There's so many different great moves for white, and I liked playing bishop b5. We have some sort of symmetry. It looks like symmetry, like these pieces are all symmetrical against one another, but it's really not. The pin on black's c6 knight is absolute, whereas mine is relative. Very strong against the queen, but there are other things, like the f pawn being in front of the knight and such. So it's not. We can all see that this is anything but symmetrical. It seems that might be. Trading central pawns, I felt was a good way for white to proceed and aim for an open, sharp game early, because white's going to be castled sooner than black, and if black can get at white's castled king, then we think that maybe white has the h1 square available on which to land immediately after and be relatively safe. Now here I didn't like this move. Computer doesn't like my move of castling, and suggests bishop takes c6, wants the crippled pawn structure to exert itself against black over time. But I castled. It's safer. It's safe to have your king castled, even with the diagonal being almost wide open. And I thought I thought bishop c5, and Stockfish 17 Light agrees that bishop c5 is a great move here for black. That didn't end up being what happened, and bishop d6. And a little bit critical of this move for maybe the attack on white's king was stronger, but also in a game this game's gonna be wide open now. Look, you can just see the attack lines for both sides really like just jumping off the board. F7's gonna be an issue. To play a move like bishop to d6, this is a move you would play in a quiet position. You make the black's dark squared bishop is like a tall pawn to some extent here, and that's fine in certain positional and less wild chess games, certain lines that aren't as wild. But in this position, it's going to be attack against attack. Maybe this is more solid, but and it develops a piece, so good points on both of that. But I think there are better ways to play that bishop, even onto e7 perhaps, and with thoughts of making an excursion over towards white's king side, especially since the queen on d8 and the bishop on e7 form a battery together along this short diagonal, mid-sized diagonal. Ripping the position wide open as soon as possible. And with queen takes d4, I take advantage of the absolute pin on c6. We're glad to have that, or I'd be lost by way of material, having not enough material. And also, queen takes d5. I see now the computer says this almost forces black to play. Look, you see the only good move indicated by the blue exclamation mark. The only good move, bishop takes f3, forcing black to play accurately. And we're not sure about this move. Queen takes g7, but I like it. It puts a lot of pressure on black to figure things out by calculating, and accurately so. There are many lines here which really put the screws to black, and though maybe there's like I say, sometimes there's this one line that saves the day for black. The computers found it as queen h4. In a blitz game online, the game's gonna fall for the bishop c5 pluses, the queen e7s, the queen f6s, the bishop takes h2's check, the bishop takes h2 checks, so on. When you force your opponent to find the one move that maybe many moves down the line ends up saving the day, you're applying a certain type of pressure. That's calculative pressure. Your opponent has to calculate accurately. Bishop e5. So that's where the game breaks. White's really much stronger here. Like I say, a lot of calculation. I'm only up 1 point of material. Some accurate moves help settle the day. But black is not giving up without a fight. And soon enough, it becomes can black checkmate. This was interesting here. Yeah, the temptation is to capture on a8, but then mate on f1 immediately after. So I avoided that. I found the only good move. Yeah, only good move, so I'm glad to have found queen to g5. This forces a swap of queens. I'm ahead as much material as 6 points. I should want to swap queens. Drill things down and then promote one or more of these pawns on the 8th rank. So this with check means I'm also picking up, I think, one more point of material with accurate play, because I extend the check by moving to a spot within black's retaliatory range, while also picking up that pawn. Black's gonna recapture, and rook takes f3 check. From here we know, okay, we got this. This is a matter of managing time and managing moves against total blunders. I'm just gonna let it play from here. I think I'm glad to get the knight for knight trade rather than having to give up the exchange. Probably a few ways to proceed here. And here, just, yeah, super simple. Right. Oh, what happened? What happened? Did I just give up 2 rooks for 1? Or did MoreGravity just throw away a rook? Sort of, because this position is outright winning without any chance of failure. Well, chance, but we move these pawns forward. As soon as this pawn gets ahead, black's king can never take the g4 pawn without this pawn becoming free to go to h8. And what will happen soon enough, that pawn queens, close off the action so that the black king cannot get back to help his pawns wherever they may be at that point, and maybe pick off a pawn or two or both, and then make another queen, right? We wouldn't normally do it quite that way, or we could, but I've got 22 seconds on my clock. I want to get the green, I want to get the win. So this is how this could have proceeded. My opponent saw the truth of that path and resigned after pawn to a7. All right, I'm gonna finish this game out against the computer. Cut off the king from this, from entering the fray here. I'm gonna make these like so. Pick up one of them. Pick up another one of them. Lose one in the process. That is sad, but we are going to win the battle at the end of the day. Now here, it's important not to rush things. If I queen or rook, if I queen or promote to rook on b8, then my opponent has stalemate. So I'm gonna move to c8, then queen. Actually, no, even better than c8 is c7. Nope, that removes the stalemating threat. Yeah, c8. My opponent has places to move. Pawn to b8 equals queen check. And now we find some way to finish this off without stalemating, like so. Let's get the data here. It's pretty much the same calculations, even with those last, what were they, 5, 6, 7 moves. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm MoreGravity. Have a great day.